Uh, okay, so I was just telling them about like how I decided to come to music school here and how I met you and like how my whole journey started. So basically, I was in Ghana. I really, really wanted to learn more than just sing because I felt like there was more to it. I knew I could sing, but I felt like there was this wall of like I couldn't go more. Like I feel like some notes I couldn't hit. I get on stage and I'm singing from my heart, but like I felt like sometimes I'm straining, I'm screaming. Okay, the people I've seen sing, like the people around me and who I've seen is how it was affecting my singing. So I really thought about it, and all of a sudden I was like, I really want to learn more than that. And anyone that knows me knows I'm that kind of a person. When I want to do something, I get my mind to it. So I started Googling, looking for music schools and stuff, and I found ICMP, Institute of Contemporary Music Performance in London, and I decided to apply. I got in, and then that, like, to be honest, that's where the color thing comes in. We are in the season, so we're definitely going to talk about it. I saw her name as my vocal coach, and it was Barbara. Guys, she's Ghanaian though, so yeah.
I am Ghanaian.
Live there all her life anyway. So, but she is Ghanaian, and the fact that I saw her name, like I went crazy, and I was like, oh, thank God. I felt really at home, and trust me, she's been nothing more than a great impact in my life, and I believe in sharing, so I feel like it would be a great opportunity for us from Ghana and wherever you are, to get hands-on information from her. So guys, let's say hi to Barbara and keep sharing to your friends. Please keep sharing so that more people will reach this platform and learn. So hi Barbara, over to you.
Hello, that was amazing, and I am eternally grateful for the opportunities that the desire to want to do music or to be a part of music, and just the courage it takes to leave your country to come to another country to study, is amazing. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to do that, and I'm grateful that I got to meet you along your journey as well. I think they always say education, and it is really important, because voice, or whether you're studying voice or studying science or studying, geography or history, it's really important to connect with what's come before us in order to be able to move forward, with just being able to be aware. And I think that's what's happening now it is definitely what's happening now. Awareness is coming, and the awareness of how the voice works, awareness of there have been giants out there who have studied the voice, and which we can kind of latch onto and have an understanding of how the voice works. And I think that's what I saw in you, that you had this hunger to want to know more and to learn more, and to be to be what do you call it, a beacon of light that kind of pushes everybody else that in your world forward. What you do.
Thank you. So this is Barbara, guys. She's been a vocal coach for about 15 years or more. And today we decided to talk about the importance of education, when it comes to singing, because when you want to be an architect, you go to school. If you want to be what else, a doctor, you go to school. But when it comes to music, we just sing from our heart, and it's crazy how that works for us. But we see all these big legends out there, and we assume they're just up there from just singing from their hearts, but they actually do educate themselves, train themselves, have warm-ups, have techniques they use, and everything is actually like mostly planned. And then at the end of the day, they follow their hearts, but everything's actually planned. And so education is very important. I think that's one of the barriers that kind of hinders us from going even overseas as musicians from Africa, because of the education side of things. So today, trust me, is going to be very educative. We wanted to just vibe with you guys, but also learn from this. So Barbara, I'm going to ask the first question. How has it been like being a teacher and teaching music, especially vocal training and all these things for all these years, especially being a woman and a person of color and doing this as a job? Like, how has it been in our community?
for me, it was a hard choice, actually, getting into music, because I had a whole other career before
Wow.
I started my journey into music. You know, I've studied business. Yeah,
Mm.
I worked for a fashion company for many, many years, and it was one day that I suddenly stood up in my office and thought, this, though I'm earning great money and there's a you know, a very clear career path here and
Mm.
a progression, it isn't really where my heart lies. And I had the opportunity to be able to follow my dream and go and study music. Now, always loved to sing, but I never trained in singing. However, I knew that the point where I was at, if I wanted to progress further and to delve deeper into what I was doing, then I needed to go and study. And luckily I found one of the only schools that were around at the time, you know, teaching music, and many of the teachers there I'm still really good friends with. You know,
Wow.
I had a great connection with so many of my teachers, and I'm so grateful
That's
to be friends
working.
with them still now. Yes, it's definitely working. And what I found was that what I saw, what we see on the outside, the end result, there's so much more planning and there's so much more study and practice that takes to get to the end result that we either hear on records or we see on television. You know, some people think that we just wave this magic wand. You know, you wake up one day and you just start singing. A lot of people have an innate talent, a God-given talent. They have it, you know, they do these wonderful things with their voices, and you're like, wow, how did you do that? And they couldn't tell you how they did it, but they'll give you goosebumps and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
You know, but for the majority of us, you know, we have to really, if we're serious about our voice, really look into it and think, right, okay, how do I get my voice from point A to point B? What are the steps that I need to take? And that is what I learned by studying. And whilst I was studying, I realized that actually I really like the voice science of it. I like the geekiness of
Yeah.
finding out and learning about the voice. And I have a natural talent for teaching. And yeah, so that was my journey into music and into education, and realizing that, you know, for me as a Black woman and as a woman getting, or as a person getting into music, it's this idea that we don't have to study it, we just do. You know, you want to be a singer, you just sing. You know, and it's fine, and you can, and many people do. But then you get to a point where it's like, I want to sing high notes, but my voice feels like it's stuck. You know, or I sing, and I'm belting it out, and this is fantastic. But then the next day, or the next day, and the next day, I have no voice left to talk with.
Use your voice. Yeah.
You know, I've got no voice left to speak with, and I'm like, oh my God, but I need to go to work because I work on the telephones and I need to speak
Oh
to
my
people the
God.
next day. You know,
I
so
can
this is
totally
not
relate.
serving me. Something's going wrong, but I still love to sing, and so yes, I need to go back. You know, and then the cycle's perpetuated, and then we get a little bit older. Then we get a little bit older, and the body doesn't work as efficiently as it did when you were younger, and then we have problems of our age. And so I started realizing that actually, yeah, education is a way forward into this, but also that we shouldn't be ashamed of saying, yes, I studied my voice, you know, or yes, I study music. We shouldn't be ashamed of it, because sometimes, you know, we have this thing about music isn't, you know, in our culture. You know, our parents want us to be doctors and lawyers and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
these big
Actually had that
professions.
experience on the plane when I was coming, and I met this. I think he was from. I've forgotten, but I think he was from Africa. And he asked me, he was like, "Oh, where are you going?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to London." He said, "Are you going to school?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What are you going to study?" I said, "Music." He said, "Huh? You're coming all the way from Africa to London? Are you serious?" The man who was sitting up on the plane and he didn't know me. I was like, wow, yeah. So there's this like, yeah, there's that thought about it. Like, why would I waste money to go and study music or about my voice? But
Exactly.
just one of
and,
the
and
first
and the thing is,
steps, yeah,
yeah,
you
and the
lose your
thing
voice.
is, once, you know, this whole COVID situation has had
Mm,
us um you know, in our homes, you know, isolated, self-isolating in our homes. And what we turn to, you know, to help us through these times is music, you know, entertainment.
Yeah.
It's the
There's so much
entertainment,
music out
and
there.
it's
Yeah.
having that value in art, you know, and there is a lot of value in art. You know, our
Mm.
traditions were passed down through song and through stories, you know,
Yep.
and it's really important that we keep these traditions. And I think that we forget sometimes the importance of art and the importance of creativity in our lives, in our daily lives. You know, we work to music, we drive our cars to music, you know, we exercise to music, you know, for having dinner, we do it to music, you know, at times if we're even having supper or something, you know, and it's so important, you know, we make love to music. This is so, there's so many things that happen to the rhythms of music. You know, and it's
Oh,
so
God.
important.
Yeah.
And when we have, you know, when we have people that want to study it, when we have, you know, people that feel a drive towards music, then we should really support them.
Yeah, yeah. This is powerful. I feel like you're taking the words out of my mouth, and this is really, really, really true. I think it's about time. Someone just made a comment here, like it's about time we have to make them respect what we do. Yeah, and I think they will respect what you do if they see the outcome of what you do. Sometimes you don't need to explain yourself, but at the end of the day, like when someone sees a massive improvement after you started training, after you started studying what you are doing as a craft, they are going to respect the process and be like, oh, actually this is actually true. Because someone wanted to be a doctor and went for training for 7 good years and above to become a surgical doctor. So why don't you have to study what you do? Because it's a whole mechanism, it's a whole big process that people actually study. And you just take the mic and sing, and then you expect, you know, the people that get away with it, that people that are really naturally talented and would go through and will be okay. And but
And
I
there are
feel like at
so
the end of
many
the
of
day,
them. You're
they
like,
still have a great,
whoa.
yeah. But such people still have their challenges that they would have gone through or overcome if they actually took time to study. So yeah, I totally agree with this, and I'm excited we're doing this. I know
Yeah,
she's Ghanaian, guys,
you,
and um I feel like with this educating
hi, Ro.
education coming out, um, Africa is going to be really massive in a few years. Like, what's your take on it? Because I feel like now people are getting more educated, more eager to find out more about singing, the music industry, how it's set up, you know, even plan before they release songs. They don't just put songs out there, etc. What's your opinion about that being in the system for a while?
I think that oftentimes people don't realize maybe how hard it can be
Hmm.
getting into music or getting into singing. And I think that if people can, or if one can research, and so, you know, you're a singer, you want to be a singer, and you think, okay, everyone's starting at a level, so, you know, wherever your starting point is your
Hmm.
starting point. And I think in terms of vocals, it's really about, you know, understanding your voice, understanding that, okay, if I'm going to be singing, then I need to be warming up my voice. If I'm going to be singing, I need to understand, well, what genre is it that I want to sing within? You know, am I going gospel? Am I going secular? You know, and if you're going secular, what part of the secular world are you going into? What are you doing? What is it that you would like to do? Now, it's not what is it you'd like to do for the rest of your life, full stop. It's just, what would you like to do with your voice right now? Because that then really informs your journey. It really informs what it is that you do. And so you're able to narrow down your focus and then work towards those steps. I think people like yourself, you know, who have studied, you know, you've got your diploma and you've been through a course, and you're armed with so much information that you can then use and pass on that information to people within your world that would like to know about this. And I think that's where we start. You know, there are so many resources, and I'll put a list of these resources. There's so many great teachers out there who have got a massive list of resources, free resources that people can tap into. Because I know that the world of YouTube is full of everything and anything, you
Yes,
know. But there's some direct places that I can, you know, I can direct people to. There's some lovely resources out there that I can direct people to. And that's where we start, but we start with understanding that, okay, yes, we want to know more, and there
Yeah.
are steps that we can take.
Yeah. I love something you said. You said something like you need to make a decision and know where exactly you're going. So if I know I'm going to do gospel, they're actually from school. I remember you said there are techniques that go with doing gospel and certain things you have to learn that. So it gives you a sort of direction, and you're not like picking all the informations all around. So most people on here love gospel music and they would like to get into that. So if this is free information, guys. So if someone wants to go into gospel music, what are the techniques? Let's just give them a few that you would advise,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, well, with contemporary music anyway, what you'll find is that the the range in which singers are singing is mainly in the middle part of the voice. And so you'd have the low, so the lower register, which is otherwise known as chest voice. Then you have the higher register, which is otherwise known as head voice. And you have something in the middle. Now, music teachers and pedagogues will argue all day long around the language and around the labels that we put on the voice, whether chest voice actually really exists, whether head voice actually really exists, whether it's called M1, M2, whether it's called speech quality, and all of these are right within the understanding of what you feel is helping you to grasp the context of the knowledge. And so with gospel singing or with any contemporary singing, what you're doing is that you have is to get a grasp of the lower part, your speech quality, the chest voice of your range, is to get a grip with the head part of your range, the upper part of your range. But the most important part is the middle, where the transition's happening, where the bridge between the lower part and the upper part come together. This is where the money is. This is where the sweet spots are, because this is where you're mainly singing all the time. This is where you're mainly singing all the time, and this is the part of the voice that is the most elusive to a lot of people. That middle part, that transition where you have, for not all guys, but for most guys, it would be around kind of the D to E flat, and for girls or women, it would be the A flat, which is all above middle C. It'll be around those areas there where you feel a gear shift. You feel, oh, okay, yeah, I'm low, 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 low. Oh, there's a bump in the road. Something needs to happen. I need to transition from one part of my voice to another part of my voice in order for the resonance that's coming from the lower part to transition to the higher part, but also sound smooth. Because we don't want, in gospel, you don't want all the flippiness happening unless you're using it as a stylistic tool. But usually you want a smooth transition from your lower part of your register to the higher part of your register.
Okay, guys, take note of that. Is
So
that
these are the money
I remember
notes.
when you talked about the baton, right? Like where we passing from one one part of the voice to it and having it smooth. And I remember you used to talk about a technique that is it a warm-up exercise that we use is normally the siren, isn't it? To
Yes.
practice on getting from one part of your voice to the other part of the voice. So guys, there's something called the siren. It's a warm-up exercise.
I like the way you say siren. I love
I'm
the way
sure
you
there's
say
a
that.
better
Hey,
accent
my
to that.
African style. Siren. Siren. Think of it as siren. SIREN. It's a siren. Woo, woo, woo.
Ghana, you got
But I love
siren,
it. I love it.
siren.
Siren. Hey, siren. I can. I'm Ghanaian. I can.
That's it though. My money wouldn't. Anyway, so
What do you can?
so that's basically the siren exercise where you it's like and normally I used to really break when I get to I think from the middle to the head voice, because it obviously showed that I had been practicing wrongly with my whole life basically. So when I started
You're
with
not
the
the
whole
only one. You're not the only one, because usually what happens is go to do a siren. Everything gets choked up. It gets really choked up here in the throat area.
So I remember you told me one time when I noticed maybe in this between this note and that note is where the break happens. I should take my time when I
Yeah.
get to that note, and then with time I'm gonna get used to it, and I'm gonna be very smooth in between it. So guys, that's one very powerful tool, the siren exercise. Is it's quite simple. It's quite I think it's not so hard on the voice also. So it's like humming. That comes to warm up exercises. Actually, I wanted to ask about that because it was one of the
Yeah.
questions someone asked that what would be the best routine to use to warm up for, like, actually it's best to warm up daily anyway, guys. That's the best thing to do. But
Yeah.
what would be the best routine for someone, a random person that wants to warm up and doesn't have so much information? What would be the warm up routine you would give to them to
We'll
yeah.
definitely be adding the siren.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely add the siren into that. So, so what there are steps into a warm up. So there's like the physical warm up. There is breath work that we can do, and then there is the vocal warm up. So just think about it in three steps: the physical warm up, which involves the body; the breath, which involves the lungs, the body, and the voice. Now there is the mind that we can put into that as well, and there is also your emotional feelings, because at the end of the day, how you feel, how you emote through a song is by using your feelings. But if you look at the physical warm up, you're really thinking about using your body. So just aligning your body, getting your body aligned. I'm not sure if you can see me properly here. Just getting your body aligned, and it's a fantastic exercise that I learnt last week from a fantastic teacher called Dane Chowthin, and I'll do that with you now. So if your viewers are watching, maybe they can do it with us. It's just really, it's just, first of all, there are several steps, but I'm just going to take you straight to the stretch. So actually, no, what I won't. What he did was this, and he said, so you do a siren, do a siren, where you go from your lowest note through to your highest note, and you try to do that smoothly.
Okay.
So you do the lip bubble. How does that feel on a scale of 1 to 10 in tightness?
I feel a vibration in my throat, and I felt a bit of tension when we started talking because I hadn't warmed up, but I felt it's
Okay.
relaxed. Yeah. So
Okay. So
kind
on a
of.
scale of 1 to 10, and I'll put his link as well in my on my list, because it's fantastic, and this is a fantastic exercise. All right. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, just mark out how tight, whatever you feel. Okay. So now what we will do is just do some exercises. So just put your head down, and then up. I hope I'm doing this right. Down. Okay, and then just push your head to one side. And as you're doing that, just allow your arm to drop. You should feel a lovely stretch here. Can you feel the stretch?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So for me, this side is really, really tight. Just remember to breathe. Good. Just hold it there for a minute. How's that feel? How's that feel for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is part of the body exercise that we're going to be doing. So the body, so you're stretching out. Yeah. And then what we can do is just look up, so your chin is facing forward. Oh my God, this feels so good for me. And just stretching here. You might think, well, what's this got to do with the voice? Well, it has everything to do with the voice, because it's all about the body, because the voice is inside the body. Oh my God, that feels so good. And
I hope you guys are doing it though. We're the ones on camera.
And this is something you can do, and we haven't even sung a note yet, really.
Yeah. That's interesting. Stretch.
Just stretching the body, stretch. And it's so important that we look at our physical side, the physical side of singing, because singing is a very physical activity. So you might just need to adjust your head slightly just to feel it. Can you feel it there?
I can really feel it here.
Yeah, so just reach down as if you're going to pick up something off the floor. Stretch it out and reach down. Oh, wow. Good. And just head up.
Oh my God.
Such a lovely stretch. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't take that long to do these stretches. Again. How's that feel for you? How's that feel for your upper body?
Jesus Christ. I feel really released, and I'm not exaggerating. Whoa, I did know turning my neck to the left or right could make me feel this way, but I actually do feel relaxed and a bit released at the top.
Yeah. And there's so many other exercises we could do around this, but just to move it on. So now, what I like to do is do that siren again. And how's that feel?
I feel like I went higher and it was easier, actually.
Yeah. And these are just a couple of the exercises that we could do to, but it just goes to show you how much the physical side of the body really, really plays an important role in singing. And then we get to breathing exercises. Now, the reason why we do breathing exercises is really just so that you can feel that connection with your breath, and it isn't really so that you can breathe in for 128 and then breathe out for 2,635. It's not that. It's just so that you get a connection with the breath with the sound, which is really important. Because sometimes we tend to overbreathe, or we're breathing in and the breath is just too high. And it affects what we do here, the pressure that we feel here. So a really good exercise is just to it's just really just try and get onto your sitting bones, or you can stand up. I don't know if you can see.
I can stand up. What I'm wearing. Okay.
And really, with the breathing, in its simplest terms, you want this kind of down, up, and out feeling. So you're down, up, and out. Down, up, and out. Breathe out. Down, up, and out. And you should feel back. So as we're doing our breathing exercises, you'll find that the back is opening, the front is opening, so the sides are opening, the back is opening. You should feel. Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if you got that. So breathing in, our tummy is supposed to push out, right?
Someone said, "Oh, that works strange." You just take it, you're breathing out.
I think that some people need to get the dynamics of the breathing in and out. I think they didn't really get it. So how to breathe in and how to breathe out.
Okay, so it depends. Some people like to breathe in through their noses, some people like to breathe in through their mouth. Now, we generally tend to do a little bit of both when we're speaking or when we're singing. So it will really depend. That means you can breathe in through your nose, but when you do, just make sure that you're not straining to breathe in. We can breathe in through your mouth. Taking that breath in. So when you're taking that breath, sorry?
I like breathing through my mouth, actually. I think that more air.
Fine. Yep. Then that's fine. You know, as they say, you do what's comfortable for you. So taking a breath in, and take that breath in. It's like you're thinking of the kind of like a door opening down there. So you're taking that breath in, and then you take that breath out. And then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you take that breath in, and then you breathe out. And then And you're getting that down, so the breath is going down, but then everything, your ribs are coming up and out. So yeah, and you should feel your breath here and not up here in your throat as you're doing
it. Got it.